So today I get to share with you guys a recent track I've been working on. Again, this is not something that I get to do all the time. In case you're not familiar, in the music licensing business, most of the tracks that you're going to send out to libraries will remain exclusively tied to their catalogs, meaning that you cannot put them out online. You can't publish them. You can't release them. So this is not sort of the kind of industry where you get a lot of fanfare and you get to beat your chest a little bit and show off a lot of the work that you do. A lot of it, unfortunately, has to stay privately. It's good for your bank account, because meaning that if it's protected and private and not having a lot of access to the public, the chances are smaller that you'll have your tracks stolen or somebody using them unauthorized and all that kind of stuff. But it's just the way the industry is. A lot of the stuff you don't get to just show off to a whole bunch of people. But this track is not yet licensed. It will be. I'm fairly confident with one of our distribution partners fairly shortly here. I'm not going to be monetizing this video though. So if they come and say, hey, this track is now somebody's, this is now copyright infringement or whatever, it's just going to be something where they flag it. I'm not going to be able to monetize it. That's okay. I don't really care. I don't monetize anything on YouTube. Maybe one day I'll throw the ads up there, but for right now, it's like, whatever, not worried about that. But, right now, though, I just want to show you guys what I've been working on. This is a hip hop track, sort of a trap track that we're working on for one of our current opportunities. I don't really have any sort of a lesson that I want to teach with this track. I'm going to share this with you, and maybe as the track goes along, I'll kind of give you some insights as to what's happening and why I decided to make the choices that I did. But anyways, I just want to share with you guys what's going on in my world, and hopefully this inspires and motivates you. So let's hit play after we get it on the right window. By the way, I should have said before I hit play, I am not a trap producer. I don't call myself a trap producer. When I'm talking to people in the business and they ask me what I do, trap is not one of the genres that I show off or say that I can do. But I'm trying to get better at it. I'm trying to really dip my toe into it a little bit more, because I do see quite a few opportunities that come my way with trap music, and it's like I'm not really that great at it, but I try to work a little bit better. I think I've gotten much better over the years. I remember my first stabs at hip hop and trap years ago. They were always really square on the grid kind of tracks, but I'm finally getting a little bit used to the sort of kind of laid back swing kind of attitude feel, especially with these drums, as you can hear. But basically for this first part, all you're basically hearing is, you can even see it visually, I guess this is 8 bars, introducing something new. The first 8 bars is sort of like an intro. Then we add these cool hard-hitting drums. Then these horns come in with these intense bomb. I also add, this is a very subtle thing, but I started adding these beef chords. I call them beef chords, but it's basically just this next level of adding chords to the progression. And I did sidechain both of these to my kick, because I want my kick to really come through, and I like a little bit of a pumping feeling with these. So as that plays, you'll hear a little bit of a pumpiness with the bass and those chords. And it also lets those horns really just punch through, those really deep horns. These are just a horn sample I got from Splice, actually. I think I always use these ones. These are my go-to horn stabs. I throw a bit crusher on there and a little bit of reverb, and that's it. Just to give it a little bit of an edge, a little bit of distortion. And my EQ with it, I normally boost the top a little bit, and I boost a little bit of the low end. So nothing special, but I just want to make sure that it's really beefy and hits hard. And obviously, I kind of do a little bit of extra compression just to make sure that slams. And then I have this kind of breakdown part where I start introducing this vocal chop that another one, really cool one I found on Splice, but as you can see, I really kind of butchered it up to make sure that it fit with my track and how it works. So I'll show you this little breakdown. Just a little breakdown bridge, builds it back up. I start adding, I put the sitar with guitar distortion on it and some strings. And I kind of paired them up with basically doing the same thing, but slightly different automation, slightly different whatever. But I felt like this track and this breakdown for sure, and definitely in the end you'll hear, I just needed that extra sense of like just epicness to it. This track, I think it's got some darkness, it's got some attitude. Obviously in the first part you can feel that, but now we're getting into the point where it's almost a little bit of like, it's almost a little bit of sadness, but it does have this like meaningful vibe to it, right? There's something about when that part comes in, it just gives it a sense of like a cinematic meaningfulness to the track. And then that's kind of breaking it down back into the chorus. And I'll kind of bring you right back here to the very end. So I'll play it from here, and then you can kind of see how this last lead, again, in the licensing business, typically you want your last chorus to be the biggest, most epic one. So you just want to sort of bring your production value to a 10 if it's not already there, and add new things and kind of just bring that intensity. And now, as you can see, what I didn't do in the first chorus, I didn't have these chopped up vocals, so now those are included. And I have some new percussion. I think, I started adding these haze, down here. Obviously, all of my tracks are labeled appropriately and clearly, so that's a really good habit to get into. Obviously, everything's color-coded. I can find everything super quick. And I'm a big fan. You can probably already notice that I stack up a lot of different sounds together. So these, this lead, which is just, I'll play it right here. So each one of those has a unique, distinct sound to it, and I wanted to make sure that I got all of those sounds into my lead. So a lot of times you don't have to have a lot going on in your track, but just making sure that that one part, and this is sort of like this kind of arpeggiated sort of looping area, has like a really cool, interesting sound, so it doesn't start to feel just very like template-y and kind of plain sounding. Give it a lot of texture and a lot of interest to it will actually help move it forward and really capture somebody's ear. But let me hit play here, and you can kind of see how I finish the track. And I do think it is a must for most music that you're going to do. You better be dancing as you produce your track. That's normally the first sign that you're doing something really good. Like when I hear this track, I can't help but start rocking to it. So it's one of your first little instincts and checks on yourself, kind of like a compass for yourself to determine, am I on track or not on track? If you can't help but just start headbanging and just get into it, you're probably on the right track because it's making you feel something. It's making you move, right? And that's what you need to do for a music supervisor. They should hit play and go like, damn, all right. Because remember, even though you're not selling to my entire mix was panned off to the right for this entire time, so sorry about that, guys. But you're not selling to the public, but you still are selling to libraries and supervisors, and those are human beings as well. So when they hit play on it, they should also just like it, really like the song. So that's just something you guys got to be aware of when you're submitting your tracks, that it's got to move you, and then obviously it's got to move whoever you're selling this to. And in this industry, you're going to be selling to libraries and supervisors. So that's it, guys. Just want to show you a little preview of this track. That's what we're working on here in the group, in the syndicate. And hopefully you can use this to, inspire yourself and make your tracks knock hard, so that you want to dance along in your studio and have just as much fun as we're having. So have a great one, guys. If you like this, make sure you leave a like. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done it already. I do weekly videos pretty much twice a week, every single week. I try to stay pretty consistent on that. I think I've done that at least twice a week for almost over a year now. So it's something that I definitely committed to, and I plan on continuing in 2018. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.